What up, everybody? We are live. This is Super Mike 2164. We're coming through. Just going to update on some current events. What's up, everybody? Update on some current events. Uh, Talking about the basic things going on and the fact that a lot of times we want to protect things that should be going away. Do we want to make all things new, or are you trying to protect the old? You're trying to protect what's here already, what God is trying to make new. What's not trying to make new, going to make new, I should say. And I'm getting some of this here from this here. Let me share the screen. Let's go here. So in Revelation 21, it says, and I saw, and this is John talking, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. And for the first heaven and the first earth were passing away, and there was no more sea. It's a vision. And I, John, saw the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his, should be capitalized, people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. So that's all I'll read from that section. But this just showing you how when we look at it, the politics of the world, if you look at the politics of the world, which nowadays we can get a lot from your social media content. We're constantly being pumped with political agendas. What's going on? I sent you a link, Leroy. Hold on. Let me send you. We'll drop the link inside the chat. What's up, James? Yeah, but the thing is, drop this link real quick, everybody. And y'all can come up if y'all want to. Yeah, but the thing is, when you look at the different politics and the situations out here in the society in the world, you see that there's a lot of what's called turmoil and change, because that's change. Things are being made new, differently. So the old stuff going to have to pass away. And are we trying to keep this old stuff going because we're programmed to understand everything through the old way? Or are we, making sure that things that we're part of the new? It's just a lot of things going on. So some of the main stories that's happening right now that I noticed, they got the international story, which is Iran accelerates highly enriched uranium production. So this is January, February 2024. Iran accelerates its production of uranium enriched near weapons grade levels in November, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency. In December 26, the IAEA noted that Iran is now producing approximately 9 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% uranium, 235 per month. Iran was producing 60% enriched U-235 at a similar rate in early 2023, but decreased production by about 2/3 in June. Accelerating the production of uranium enriched to 60%. U-235 is concerning because the material can be quickly enriched into weapons grade levels or 90%. France, Germany, United Kingdom, the United States condemned Iran's decision in December 28th statement and described it as a backwards step that demonstrates Tehran's lack of goodwill. Now, keep in mind, they're mad because Iran is producing a weapon that it can use to defend itself when everybody's sitting up here ready to kill it. And the Netanyahu people is murdering people all inside of Gaza in Palestine. So accelerate now. Iran is making the decision it says it's a lack of goodwill towards de-escalation. You know, the stuff that people trip about is funny. Well, whatever. The statement said that Iran's actions represent reckless behavior in a tense regional context and urged Tehran to immediately reverse these steps. Mohammed El-Sami, head of the Atomic Energy Organization. Hold on one second. Let me see. Hold on one second. What's up, D-Roy? Let me finish reading this part. It says...
Go for it.
Yeah. It says that the increase in enrichment of uranium to 60% comes amid mixed signals from Tehran regarding its interest in nuclear diplomacy, restoring the 2015 nuclear deal. Iranian Foreign Minister Hosseini Amirabdollahian said that December 9th speech that the nuclear deal, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, is becoming useless. The United States and Iran are not currently on the path to return to the nuclear deal, he said, but Iran will consider restoring the accord if it serves our interests. The comments appear to suggest a subtle shift in Iranian messaging regarding JCPOA. Iran publicly continued to support restoring the accord long after the United States signaled that returning to the nuclear deal is no longer a U.S. priority. Kurt Campbell, U.S. National Security Council coordinator for the Indo-Pacific Affairs, reaffirmed the U.S. position before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on December 7th. Campbell, the Biden administration's nominee for Deputy Secretary of State, said that the nuclear deal is just not on the table. in the current environment. So basically, this is a year ago. And now I think they've actually enriched the nuclear weapons potential. So now the United States wants to attack them. So now it says they got this thing called Iran Watch. Iran's nuclear timetable, the weapon potential. The timetable estimates how soon Iran could reach. So let me ask you this, Leroy. Why do you think, okay, it's okay for Israel, it's okay for Israel, it's okay for some South African people, it's okay for, Britain, it's okay for
Russell.
a lot of people to have these nuclear weapons, but well, they don't like Russia having them either. But
Yeah, but they're not gonna stop Russia from having them.
It's for North Korea to have it. North Korea has it.
Oh yeah.
They act like they didn't want to have that going on either. So now they want to act like they want to fight to stop Iran. Why do you think that is? Even though Pakistan has them?
Because the same people we always end up talking about are behind this as well. I mean, I forgot which general it is or whatever higher up in the military here said right after 9/11 when Desert Storm or whatever it was called when they went into getting in Saddam, that they had a plan to go into 7 countries in the Middle East, and Iran is the last one. I mean, what you're describing is the same thing that happened to Gaddafi. As soon as he got rid of his nuclear operation, they got rid of him.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even nuclear; it was chemical weapons he had, I think.
Well, yeah, whatever he had that might have protected him and his country. Once he got rid of it, they got rid of him.
Right.
And it wasn't somebody that didn't look like you and me who was in charge when that happened. It was Obama. That doesn't absolve. Go ahead.
People, Obama is white. Obama, when you're seriously, no, because when you're the president of the United States, you're sitting in the White House. You're sitting in the White House. It's called the White House for a reason. It's white. This is the power of white. So if you're sitting in that seat, just like Cory Booker, just like all of these, that's the reason why they act the way they act. This is white power. Now, if you are, so I mean, it's just the bottom line. That's what I mean by this old stuff or the new thing. Because right now we're programmed by a white. We're living in a white nation. This is their system. So it's like the way we're even taught to think of how stuff should be. We find it easy to beat up on folks as soon as we see our people do something crazy. Okay, we could justify beating them up, but when some of these other people or white people or some other group of people do something crazy, we got all kinds of deference for them. We don't have that same energy. So these people, if you're dealing in this system, you're trying to keep this thing going, that's white. Because white is not a color. White and black and the racial categories are not actual colors. Okay. It's not actually, this is little positions that they have created, little boxes that they made They allow this group to be in, they allow that group to be in. So that's why they allow some of the Latin people, they're brown, but they'd be like, okay, you could be white. They allow Indians, they can list themselves as white. They'll, they allow Egyptians when they come into the United States, they can list as white. You see? So it's not about, once we get rid of that idea that, they can look like you, but are they you? No. So then we got to understand, like, this is what this is. And the more we keep pretending, then that's when we confusing ourselves with all these different concepts. They just made this stuff up. They just made this stuff up, and then we were born in it, so we think it's true. But they just made that stuff up a few hundred years ago.
Who you think made it up?
It was white people. They made it up.
Hold on? Can we be more specific?
White people.
Blumenthal. Can we be more? Okay. So the people who say they aren't white, right? Would that be fair to say?
Who you talking about?
That's how they describe themselves.
Well, they keep lying. See, that's what I'm trying to say. These are people like they're described as snakes. Okay.
I'm not saying they are being truthful. I just said that's how they describe themselves.
But listen what I'm saying. Though. Okay, they're described as snake. That the snake, it can twist this way, and then it'll twist this way. Then it'll have twist another way. It's like a little snaky mannerism the way it moves, and it got a forked tongue, so it can speak one way and it can speak a different way out of the same tongue.
White man speak with forked tongue.
Right. That's my point. So if you accepting this designation as white, okay, I mean, yeah, and
but they don't.
No, they do. They do.
They do, but
that's what I'm trying to say.
But they are. Hold on, but no, I'm not confused. Like I kept saying, this is how they describe themselves. I'm not saying that it's truthful. I'm not saying I agree with it. What I'm saying is, this is if you say they are white, and I ain't even saying this all of them, but some of them are quick to say, no, I'm not. Quick, I've heard it, and the first time. That's why I said some, and when I heard it from some, I'm not even gonna front. It shocked me, and it shocked me not because it's obviously not true. It's just it's just how blatant the lie is, and how they just said it as if water is wet. Okay, yeah, water is wet. Bro, you are what you look like. If we're gonna go by the classifications that we're being given, and to say that you aren't, and to me the only reason they say that is a feeble attempt to try and tie themselves to a history that they know isn't theirs.
Well, I'll say it like this. Yeah, I'll say it like this. The thing is this. What we're dealing with, and we're calling white and black, and then they added, the other little racial classifications. They don't really, they kind of brown, yellow, and something red. I don't think they really enforce that too much. But what they're actually calling from the racial classifications, we're talking about race here. We're not talking about the way people actually look. We're talking about race. Okay, what team are you on? Okay, if you are trying to continue the same people to be in power based on this racial classification systems, okay, if you want them, if your whole mission in life and your whole decision making process is basically to keep this same group of people in power, then you are white. That's what it is. And so now people look white. Okay, so they want these people who look a certain way. Uh, their phenotype, the way they look. Okay, we want our people to look really what they call fair skinned. I don't know if that's fair, but whatever. Okay, that's a whole mind thing in itself, calling this color fair. And then they say that people of color, as if white is not a color. Crazy. And so, like I said, this white thing and the racial classification thing is that's what it really the problem to me. That's a big problem. Now, then people will say, "Well, then stop calling yourself black." Well, no, that means I'm going to be a black person because I'm going to stand my ground. Because if I pretend like I'm not who I am, then that causes another level of confusion. You want to disassociate
Yeah.
with it because what it is black is not a color either. See, but in the racial classification thing, they've kind of distorted what they distorted actual colors with race. So there's a thing called black and white in reality. Okay, it don't have nothing to do with race. It's just these are colors. Okay, and they're also just ways that things that show up. It shows up as a dark. Humans show up as dark. Light, white looking, black looking, brown, all the different tones that humans naturally show up as. Okay. Somebody had this idea to go say, oh, if you have this dark color, we're going to say you're black and mean. And then if you have this white color, we're going to have to say that you're white and fair. And then they enforce that. So that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? And that's all it is. And so when I say that Obama is white, if you're sitting in the White House, you white. You are white.
When you,
And because,
uh,
so, yeah.
I think it's deeper than that. When you make decisions that intentionally do not help those that look like you,
And see, even calling themselves look like you, it's your mind.
what?
It's like just because they look like you, that's not enough. If you black,
No, it's not.
you black. If you a black
Yeah,
American, your decision making should help black Americans.
yeah,
Not
and
just
that's what I'm getting to.
yeah.
That's what I'm getting to. When you sit in that position and you look like us, but when you make decisions that work against us and won't make other decisions that will help us, then you aren't white, but your mindset is. No matter what you look like, shit. I have people that tell me I had that mindset, and nothing could be further from the truth. It's just because I won't buy into certain things that they go headlong for. That well, since you ain't over here with us, then you white or you a Republican or anything they want to throw. I mean, you familiar? You seen the conversations? Dude, I sent you one today on yeah. I mean, it's completely weird. You know, I don't know if you've seen this video of Angela Stan King and Pierre the comedian going back and forth, and everything she's spitting is true, from what abortion is, how it affects us, why men aren't in the homes, the role that women, black women in particular, since that's what we're talking about, black people, uh, how some of them won't play the role that they should, and that's due to a heavy influence of uh, manipulation by the same group of people. I mean, still we being played like a flute. And even on their side, white people who buy into it, you know, on whatever level, they've been manipulated too.
Well, yeah,
Because
it's got,
if they were if either if either set of peoples who are being manipulated ever open their eyes to see what is really happening, you know, we be getting different results out here, wholesale on both sides.
right. Now the thing is, though, I'm gonna play this little clip, a little bit of this, because let me this way, play back. Let me go 125. Well, the thing is, okay, true enough, if people change their mindset, the way we're manipulated, it would change everything, right? But the people who, if you're comfortable, if your stuff is being taken care of, everything is going hunky dory for you. Why would what motivation do you have to change your mindset? You don't
You
have to
don't,
motivate. So
and that's
why?
why I said they're being manipulated on the other side for
But
the
why?
ones that buy into it.
Right? Why would they change though? They won't change. They gotta
Oh
have a
no,
little.
because they may feel like things are going the way that are right, not white, just right.
For them. Yeah, they feel like
Yeah, of
it's
course. Yeah,
right.
I'm not saying yeah, of course, because I agree with it. I'm just saying
So the
from
change,
their point of view.
yeah. So the change is going to come from the people who's getting the most pressure against them. The change is going to come from the people who are getting the most pressure against them, which are called black people. Okay, in the racial category, the racial category system assigns black people in these people's racial categories. These are the people that have to be stolen from and manipulated and pressured. You see what I'm saying? That's what black is in this system of categories. White is the system, people, group of people who will have the most freedom. Okay, so that's just that way they decided to make that. It's just something made up. And so I just want to look at this Iran thing. So the Iranians want some nuclear weapons because they feel threatened. I want to look a little bit at this conversation between Scott Ritter, Larry Johnson. These are two white people. They, they are, and they actually do advise against attacking Iran and things like that. They've criticized, both of them have criticized Netanyahu and Israel and things like that. But I just want to look at some of this here so we can get a concept on it.
Can be converted in short order to 3 to 5 nuclear weapons. Nation-ending strike.
Scott, what's your understanding of what's going on and the way that Donald Trump is handling the situation with Iran and Iranian as well?
Look, I've been saying till I'm red in the face that Donald Trump is serious about attacking Iran. That if Iran doesn't put its nuclear program on the table, Iran will be struck. And I also am of the belief that this isn't going to be, the kind of strike that's hitting Yemen. This will be a nation-ending strike. This will be a strategic air campaign designed not only to eliminate Iran's nuclear potential, but to eliminate the regime. If these reports are true, then this is about what's ready to happen. And I think Iran has committed suicide. I'm sympathetic to the Iranian plight. This doesn't mean that I support what Donald Trump is doing. I condemn it. There's no justification under international law. But Iran has been playing a very dangerous game, and what I think is a stupid game. You don't, under this circumstance where this president with this pro-Zionist cabinet, this warlike peace through strength mentality, you don't wave the red flag in front of the bull, no matter how justified you might be in waving that red flag. And when you have considerable stocks of 60% enriched uranium that have no justification whatsoever to your declared peaceful program, and yet which can be converted in short order to 3 to 5 nuclear weapons, you've waved the red flag. And Iran is about ready to reap what they've sown. They claim that this is an issue they're willing to fight for. Now we're going to find out. Iran has been saying they have the ability to
Can you pause it?
damage with their 5,000 missiles they're going to launch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for him to go on about, Iran is going to reap what they have sold. Uh, what attack have they leveled against Israel here, anywhere? I'm, and that's not to say they haven't done anything wrong. Sure, they have. It's government. Governments are ran by men. It's gonna be some dirt getting done somewhere, without question. But on the level that they're saying that they should receive a nation-ending strike because they won't relinquish the weapons that they haven't even made yet. I mean, this is tantamount to giving up the Second Amendment, and you haven't even fired your weapon yet. I mean, how long have we been told that Iran is on the precipice of creating nuclear weapons? At least, at least I would say since the 90s. It may go back to the 80s. And if anyone should have their nuclear weapons removed, it should be the people that Kennedy tried to stop from getting them in the first place. And that's the same place that's trying to stop Iran from equipping themselves if they so choose, which they haven't yet. Because if they had, you better believe that that's all they would be saying in the news, as much as they are saying for years and decades now that they have the ability to enrich uranium and make nuclear weapons forthwith. I mean, dude, this is diabolical. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's listen to some more of it.
We'll find out. If they don't launch preemptively, however, then there may not be 5,000 missiles. This is the danger. This isn't going to be, a pinprick strike. If this happens, this will be an all-encompassing strategic air campaign with massive amounts of damage done up front, up to including the potential use of tactical nuclear weapons. Because the only way you take out the Firdos bunker is with a B-61-12 penetrating nuclear bomb or a W-76-2. But this is why they were designed. This is why they were built, for this very purpose. And I've been trying to, articulate that we have to prevent this war. But every time I say that, people are like, what about Israel? Israel doesn't matter. Don't bring that into the mix. The only thing that matters at this point in time is Iran's nuclear program. That's it. They got to get rid of the 60% enriched uranium and get back to where there's, if not a 1-year breakout window, maybe 6-month breakout window. But that's the only issue at stake here. And anything less than that will result in a war. And I think we're at the point right now where this war is going to happen. And it's tragic. It could have been avoided. The United States, of course, should be condemned for what it's about to do. But Iran shares its, burden. There's a fair share of the burden that relies with Iran. They could have stopped this, and they opted not to.
Larry, how Iran
Why
could have
why can't Israel be mentioned?
Well, because he said so. He said Israel doesn't matter. It's only Iran's nuclear missiles matter.
Okay, so if Iran gets rid of the nuclear program that they have that has not created nuclear weapons yet, then that'll only leave the only nuclear power in the Middle East would be what, Israel and maybe Saudi Arabia, which I believe they work together.
Yep.
That would be it, right?
Yep.
Unbelievable. The same Saudis that have been bought off with and made oil rich because an American decided to get rid of the gold standard and tie the American dollar to oil. Because if you do that, if you trade oil in dollars, then we'll forever defend Saudi Arabia. That's the deal, right? Or OPEC. I'm sorry, OPEC.
Right. Yeah, y'all. Like I said, this stuff is the old world. You borging up.
I said to me that's not an encouragement for Iran to lay down their arms.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Do you copy that?
Yeah, I wouldn't lay down
No,
mine. I would increase myself. That's what I would do. But
absolutely. Yeah, go.
so let's go with some more of this here. Let's see what Larry has to say.
Well, I have a slightly different take than Scott. Iran's a sovereign country. Iran has as much right to create a nuclear weapon as Pakistan, Israel, South Africa, France, the United Kingdom. The United States doesn't have any right to be the final arbiter on this, since we're the only ones that have been dropped the bomb on people and killed them. I think if Trump is stupid enough to attempt this, and I don't at all disagree with Scott on the potential of these weapons to be that destructive. But we've seen time after time after time where the Air Force, going back to the US Army Air Corps in World War II, believed that by bombing, they could bring an end to a conflict, or they could resolve a situation, or it would be so decisive that it would it would end it all. Now, we point to the use of the atomic bombs in Japan. That I believe was really done more, not so much to end the war quickly, but it was a message to the Soviets to scare them and let them know, yeah, we're the biggest, baddest bastard on the street. The problem I have with the U.S. position is we got so many false, wrong assumptions about Iran, about its capabilities, and in fact, what Iran's doing. The only country over the last 20 years that's been carrying out terrorist attacks against the others is the United States has been carrying out terrorist attacks in Iran. There's not been Iran carrying out terrorist attacks inside the United States or against U.S. targets. The United States, we complain that, quote, the Iranians provided assistance to Shia and Hezbollah during our invasion, our illegal invasion, I will add, and that because they provide military support to guys carrying out attacks against military units, that's terrorism? That's not terrorism, sorry. That's where you get to try to define it. Our terrorism was we funded and trained the Mujahideen al-Khalq, who we used to declare as a terrorist organization, so that they were carrying out attacks against civilian targets inside Iran. The same with aid to in the Baluchistan area in southeast Iran. So, the United States has fabricated this narrative about, oh my God, we got to stop Iran at all costs. And sorry.
So what he's saying too is deep, because the thing is, a lot of us, we think, we just listen to these people's narratives. And this is what I mean by this white thing. Just make this racial category crap up, because they just, that it's their power. And, Scott understands that, but he's like, I'd rather me have the power, basically. Now, what Larry's saying is like, really, it's not on Iran and them. They're getting a missile, they're getting a nuclear bomb because they're like, well, you guys are crazy. We need something to blow you up with if you try to kill us. So the thing is, but Larry is saying, really, just because they get that doesn't mean that they're going to attack you, because they don't want to necessarily get blown up. But they just want you to back off. They want you to back off, basically. So you really don't have a right to attack them just because they have, the nuclear bomb or whatever. Ability.
But yeah, the ability to make nuclear weapons. That they haven't said that they have made them, because as far as they're concerned, as soon as they can make them, they're eligible to be attacked. But what's also true is them possibly having the ability to make them also subjects them to being attacked. Not just having them or making them. Both of them is reason enough in their view. The guy with in the upper left corner,
Right?
as
Scott,
far as
really?
he's concerned, that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. And that if it happens, well, that's partly Iran's fault. So we're gonna blame the people you shooting who haven't shot at you, like the guy on the right said. Iran, they haven't done anything directly to America or Israel to warrant this type of retaliation. And retaliation ain't even the right word because they haven't done anything.
Well,
It-
they
Go ahead.
have they have frustrated Israel's murders on the Palestinian people. Iran is against a lot of stuff that they don't bow with. They don't go with Israel on that certain stuff.
Oh,
It's like Saudi
okay, but
Arabia. Mhm.
okay, but have they done anything in
Yeah,
Gaza for the Palestinians that
yeah.
allowed the Palestinians to be in position to hurt
They
Israel?
they blew up. They send weapons to. They make weapons for the Houthis. They make
The
weapons
Houthis.
to. Yeah, those ones who's are blowing up those ships in that Red Sea area, the Houthis and stuff in Yemen. They also blew up some stuff in Israel. They sent the drones and blew them up. And Israel can't
Wait,
fight Iran.
did they, hold on? Did they do that, or were we told they did that?
They
Because they have been over the years. There have been an innumerable amount of reports that state that Israel has been attacked by Hezbollah, Hamas, the PLO, and there are some instances where you do see visual, what you could call visual evidence of them being attacked. Then there are a lot more instances where there's none of that being displayed to say, hey, this is where they hit us. Or like what they showed recently, even when they shoot back. I mean, dude, I think there's so much lying going on that if we really knew the truth, we'd be surprised. Even though I think we have a good grasp on.
Amidst the possibility of an attack by the United States.
Well, the thing is, there's some. That's why they have the official government media channels out, and which are this right here is India's stuff, but yeah, I think they did hit Israel back because Israel actually blew up their Iran's
Embassy.
consulate. Yeah, they blew up
Yeah,
their embassy.
yeah.
Iran had the right to attack them back, so they did.
Yeah, and they didn't, which shows me the fact that they didn't come right back and fire at them. That they are showing a extreme amount of restraint.
No, they did attack them back. They didn't do it right away, but they did. They got them back. They blew them up, and they took
When
responsibility for that.
And the state of Israel. Iran is getting ready with more radars. The build-up in West Asia has swelled, and it comes after satellite images of the U.S. stationing 6 B-2 nuclear bombers of Diego Garcia have appeared. All this is the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is set to meet with President Donald Trump on Monday. And our next report gets you the latest in terms of what is happening in West Asia.
See, they call the Middle East West Asia. Well, we call it Middle East.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Iran and the U.S. are locking horns. Both sides are gearing up for what looks like a dangerous confrontation. Iran is heightening efforts to bolster its air defenses to insulate itself from a potential preemptive strike by the U.S. and Israel. It's a clear signal of terror.
Thank you. Good to be on your network. That certainly is a very, very possible outcome right now. I do think Trump.
All right, let me see. Let me go to the part when they actually did attack them. Let me see.
does want.
So basically about 11 months ago. Let's see. Who else can say it?
We're following breaking news as we come on tonight, the major escalation in the Middle East. U.S. officials confirming that Iran has launched drones and missiles toward Israel, following through on its vow to retaliate for the deadly bombing of its consulate in Syria 12 days ago. Earlier today, Iran's Revolutionary Guard seizing an Israeli-linked cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, rappelling down from a helicopter. And the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah launching a barrage of rockets into northern Israel, the Iron Dome intercepting many of them. President Biden cutting short his weekend trip to Delaware and returning to the White House to consult with his national security team about events in the Middle East, now meeting with them in the Situation Room. Israel closing airspace to all flights as it braces for an Iranian attack, and neighboring Jordan also temporarily closing its airspace. We have team coverage tonight. Britt Clennett leading us off from Jerusalem.
Tonight, an unprecedented attack on Israel. For the first time, Iran directly launching drones from its territory. Roughly 100 drones on the way, expected to be part of 400 to 500 drones and missiles from Iran, as well as Iraq, Syria, and southern Lebanon, according to a U.S. official. That U.S. official also telling ABC News the targets are 3 military bases, especially one housing F-35 fighter jets. The attack, retaliation for a deadly strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria earlier this month, likely to unfold over a number of hours, according to the National Security Council. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tonight saying the defensive systems are deployed, saying we are prepared for any scenario, both in defense and attack. Netanyahu once again vowing whoever hurts us, we hurt him. And a U.S. official telling ABC News tonight that the U.S. will help intercept everything possible. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, after the drones were launched, saying the evil regime will be punished. The Israeli Defense Forces saying the drones would take hours to reach Israel, more than 1,000 miles away. Israel closing Ben Gurion Airport and Israeli airspace, also closing schools and limiting large gatherings until Monday night. Iran for weeks vowing swift revenge after top commanders were killed in a strike the Pentagon says Israel was behind. Earlier today, Iran seizing this cargo ship, partially owned by an Israeli family.
So basically, they said they gave them some warning. We're going to attack you. This was about 11 months ago. So basically, almost a year ago.
Sounds so very coordinated. I mean, why would that? It's not like Israel announced, or if it was publicized, it wasn't publicized here that they was gonna hit the consulate or the embassy or whatever. There was the consulate or the embassy. They didn't give them notice. Hey, we about to get you. But
No.
Iran is.
Yeah, Iran, they said they gave them notice before they blew them up.
Yeah, Iran is giving them notice, but Israel did not give Iran notice.
No.
I mean, you see why it seems coordinated? Because if you didn't pay me the courtesy, why would I give you? Why would I do that for you?
Because
we talking about shooting at each other.
Well, Iran, they understand that the war is more about being justified. Okay, it's not just about killing people. And this is what's happening. What actually is destroying the United States and Israel is the fact that they are unjustified. They are looked at by the people of the planet as a pariah. They are looked at as the bad guy. That actually will hurt them, and they think they can just do whatever the fuck they want to do, and they just keep, but when you are looked at as the bad guy, that's going to hurt a lot of your plans. So the reason
but they don't care about that, Mike.
Well, they don't have to care
about it.
They don't have to care about it. The fact is, it's going to affect them, because whether they care about it or not, it's like you don't have to care that you don't have wings. You jump off the damn mountain. Okay, well, you didn't care, but it's still going to affect you a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So like the reality doesn't care if we care or know about it. Okay, reality is just going to affect us, period. Whether, no matter what we believe, we can believe whatever we want to believe. So, you know, that's one thing. If you understand reality and the opponent does not understand reality, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to have an advantage, because they're going to walk right into a trap because they don't care or understand. So that's the thing. So they can use, you know, like the other guy said, Larry, he said, you know, we have so many wrong assumptions. You know, he started to kind of hit the desk a little bit. He's like, these, you know, we're coming through with so many freaking wrong assumptions, and they don't understand that this is messing everything up.
Now, attacks against military units, that's terrorism. That's not terrorism. Sorry. That's where you get to try to define it. Our terrorism was we funded and trained the Mujahideen al-Khalq, who we used to declare as a terrorist organization, so that they were carrying out attacks against civilian targets inside Iran. The same with aid to in the Baluchistan area in southeast Iran. So, you know, the United States has fabricated this narrative about, oh my God, we got to stop Iran at all costs. And sorry, let's total up who's got the biggest body count for killing civilians. We've got a body count in Afghanistan. We've got a body count in Iraq. We've got a body count in Syria. We got a body count in Libya. Iran's not out murdering people like we are. So what I fear will happen is the United States will attempt to strike. It will not be successful. It will maybe have some limited success, but it will still leave Iran in a position to start retaliating. And, you know, it will take out oil fields. They'll take out the Al Udeid Air Force Base in Qatar. They may even hit Israel. And then we're on the brink of World War III, because particularly if we use nukes, I don't see Russia standing by saying, oh, those Americans, those crazy guys, we'll just look past this. They've got the security arrangement in place with Iran, and China and Russia both have been conducting regular military exercises with Iran. I don't believe they're doing that just because they were bored and didn't have anything better to do.
Scott, we had reports from Russia. It says that Russia has.
So, like I said, this is part of what's happening. You know, I think that there's a lot of wrong assumptions on the part of the United States and a lot of these people that's in positions of power in the country, because they think they can just do what they want to do because they've been able to for a long time. But you know, things are changing. Things are changing. People with a different mentality, a different idea, are starting to gain power. So I think that they having this problem, and that kind of leads me to this situation also. So more domestically, we have this situation with where is that at? I don't know if I can, let me see. For example, with this boy that he stabbed this white guy.
Talking about
Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
Stabbed this twin.
Do you know if Carmelo has been charged?
I don't know.
I haven't heard that. You know, I mean, I've been checked out a few programs, not a whole lot, but the ones I have checked out, I haven't heard one mention that he's been charged. And I'm not saying he should or shouldn't. I just think it says something that he hasn't been. For all the narratives and whatever the reports are that are out there, if he hasn't been charged yet, I think that says something.
What would that say to you?
That there's more to it than just what the narratives are or the early reports are saying. That he was told to leave and he got irate and then just stabbed the guy in the chest. I think it's more to it than that, and more has come out that says that the twin that he stabbed, him and his brother are bullies. That they told him to leave the tent, but that's not their tent. The tent belongs to the school. So the twins, either one of them or Carmelo, none of them have the right to tell, or the authority, better said, to tell anyone to leave.
Right.
So I think, and the fact that he hasn't been charged, I think speaks to that there's something else there that they aren't, that the reports aren't giving us yet. Because the powers that be, which is the same group who controls the media and everything else, they aren't letting that other side out yet.
Right. Now I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this reaction from this brother here, Introvert Rockstar. He's a truck driver. He does a lot of good content too on different topics. And he puts a fair use disclaimer up. I'm gonna use the same fair use under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. So I'm gonna play this and let's look at his reaction about it.
There was this kid, before I know his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless, and my brother stepped in.
We asked him to move. See that? You heard that real quick? This kid.
Yeah. Yeah, they said ask. Was it ask?
Under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless.
This kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. Why? Because he was sitting under y'all tent at track. We asked him to move.
Tent that doesn't belong to you.
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped there and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to look around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not gonna talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that. What an argument! It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like I had a friend, and there's people that care about them all the time. And he did everything for our family too. He was a strong kid.
And look, first of all, rest in peace to that young man. But on this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. His brother just told us the truth. Listen again. Run the tape.
And my brother stepped there and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to look around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not gonna talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
His twin brother attacked first. Make that make sense. And notice he said, "I'm not going to talk about the rest." Well, guess what, partner? I'm going to talk about the rest because racist Caucasian people, they always love to attack our people and hide their hands, attack our people and cry wolf. But now on this channel, we let nothing slide. So let's get right into this article so I can show y'all how cold the game really is. And this article is by the New York Post. It was published April 4th, 2025 at 9:36 a.m. The chilling words team told cops after allegedly stabbing Texas football star Austin Metcalf, who died in twin brother's arms. And notice how they use some words. He died in his twin brother's arms, but they won't tell you the truth. But they'll play with your mind. They'll play psychological games with our minds to make us feel sorry. But let's carry on. The teenager accused of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf and leaving him to die in his twin brother's arms at a high school track meet allegedly admitted to his sister's unaliving, but claimed it was in self-defense. "I'm not alleged. I did it," 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony Chillingly told police in Frisco, Texas, as he was being arrested at Kirkendall Stadium. The horrific stabbing was sparked when Anthony, who was sitting under another team's pop-up tent as it rained Wednesday morning, was asked by Metcalf to move, and Anthony refused. Anthony then unzipped a bag, reached inside and told Metcalf, whom he had never met before, "Touch me and see what happens," a witness told police.
And look, the brother already told us what happened, but you have to use your common sense. No young black man that's captain of the football team that has a 4.0 is going to randomly attack another young Caucasian man. It's not happening. He didn't do it for no reason. Then I step back and say, wait, what's the race demographic in Frisco, Texas? Check this out. 51.2 Caucasian people, 8.6 black people. You might as well say 91.4% Caucasian people because everyone else, especially in Texas, they already want to be Caucasian. The Hispanics, the Asian, they all want to be Caucasian people. So 8.6 black people, it tells me everything I need to know about Frisco, Texas. He's not going to get a fair trial. Of course, his bond going to be set at $1 million because it's only 8.6 black people in Frisco, Texas. And tell me this, why would the article say whom he's never met before? So I said, wait, let me go further down the rabbit hole. So I went over to Facebook and everything started to make sense. Check this out. And shout out to Kevin Hayes. I think he's a track coach in Texas and he knew Carmelo Anthony. The truth about Carmelo, let's set the record straight. Enough with the misinformation. Let's talk about facts. Number one, it's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Carmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. If you ran track, you already know. We always go to everybody else's tent. That's common. Number two, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Carmelo before, a blatant lie. Number three, no student has the right to remove another student from the school-owned tent. The school owns the tent, not the twins. Number four, Carmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not. He wasn't expecting to see them there. See, everybody was talking like the twins was running track and Carmelo did nothing. No, he ran track. The twins was just there bullying people. And then he says, now here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave. They tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings. They broke his phone and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. So ask yourself, if two 200-plus pound attackers came at your child, what would you expect them to do? And again, shout out to Kevin Hayes for that information. But you see the games that the media plays on our people. That's the reason why his brother said, I'm not going to tell the rest. Of course you're not going to tell the rest of the story because you're going to tell on yourself. And then the media is so cold with it. They showed Carmelo Anthony holding a gun, but they never showed the twins holding a gun. And you got to think about it. In Texas, every family has guns. It's like a cell phone. It's common. So for you to judge, for everybody to judge Carmelo Anthony holding that gun, but not to judge those twins holding that gun, make it make sense. But no one's going to judge them right because they have on hunting gear. That means nothing. Keep the same goddamn energy. And then Kevin Hayes said something that was very important. He said these twins are known bullies. So you have to go back to the past. In these mostly Caucasian towns where there's a lot of Caucasian people and less black people, what do they known for? What are they known for throughout history doing to our people? Let's start with the KKK. They love taking advantage of our people when we buy ourselves. If it's a group of us, they don't attack. They have to catch you by themselves because, they are cowards. And see me, I can give you examples. I don't just talk. Number one, we have Robert Brooks, upstate New York. 18 correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number two, we have Ronald Green from Louisiana. 5 Louisiana troopers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number three, we have Messiah Natweed. 15 New York, upstate New York correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. You even have the twins that was unalived, that was murdered in those Georgia mountains. And a volunteer firefighter took pictures. They arrested him for a few hours and released him. No questions about did he do it or not. No outrage. Where is the same outrage for those twins in Georgia, in those mountains, in that sundown town? Make it make sense. And look, I can go on and on. It's in their blood to attack our people and hide their hands. It's in their blood to attack our people and cry wolf. But not this time. They learned a valuable lesson. Carmelo Anthony just lost his best friend. You don't know what people are going through. Don't touch people. Don't lay your hand on people. And where people are saying, why he had a knife for him? It's Texas, dog. Either people got guns or they carry knives. A lot of men, especially in the South, everybody carries pocket knives. You don't know what kind of knife he had. A lot of young men carry knives. It's just, the way of life. If you're from the North or West Coast, you probably don't understand that. But in the South, you either got a gun or you got a knife with you, or you got both. Tell me I'm lying. And look, like I said earlier, it's only 8.6% black people in Frisco, Texas. So, of course, he's not going to get a fair trial. Of course, they're going to set his bond at $1 million. So I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put the link to the real GoFundMe account for his parents because we have to start standing up for our people. We can no longer let the mainstream media get away with lies, get away with misinformation. So to Carmelo Anthony's parents, I'm sorry y'all have to go through this. We will be by your side. Free Carmelo Anthony. I'm out.
Yeah, I like that. But they said $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have charged him with something.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What? Still haven't said that. And I did what he read. I had read earlier. So I'm familiar with that information. And I mean, I've seen that interview before of the twin, saying, what he wanted to share about what happened, not necessarily everything that actually happened, what he wanted to share. Because you heard him say, that he wouldn't tell the rest. Why not?
See?
Why not? What you hiding?
Oh yeah, they're gonna hide his stuff. See, that's one thing they do. We don't get it. A lot of us don't get it. This ain't no fair game. They hide their stuff, and that's why Megyn Kelly and all these other people, they come out there and they're gonna defend theirs. It's not about fairness. But when stuff happens on our side, we're always concerned about what's fair, and we're trying to get it right and all this. And I understand that, and that's good actually. But we're pretending that these folks do fair. They don't do fairness. They basically, in their minds, they get to kill you. You don't get to do that thing. You don't get to defend yourself.
Unfortunately, it seems to be that way in some instances. Absolutely.
Well, that's how they got it set up. And you look at the media apparatus.
When Jason Whitlock started talking about it, I want to say it was shortly there after the, incident that he said he knows people in the area, and they telling him what the twins are, and they Christians, and, raised by both parents, and I want to say he said that Carmelo wasn't, and I think it's come out since then. No, his dad and his mom, they together, they raised him, and it's just all.
And that's what I'm saying. When Jason Whitlock is behaving in that manner, he's basically trying to be white. He's white. You see what I mean? It's not. He's trying to be. He's trying to be in that category that preserves the racial status quo. That racial stuff, it's time to get out of here. This racial category thing has to go. And guess what? Black folks have already tried to be something else, not black. So the racial category has got to happen, change from the folks who call themselves white. And why would they change their behavior? Because they're feeling like they're on top. Well, the reason why they would change it is because they got to feel the pressure. And that's why I said, and that's the problem. Nobody wants them to feel no pressure. Everybody's always trained to protect their feelings. That's got to stop. They got to deal with it. They'll be fine. They'll be right. But yeah, they got to deal with it. They got to deal with it. If you're gonna create an unfair law or rule, you're gonna let Zimmerman get away. You're gonna let everybody get to kill the black people, and then something's wrong with the black folks, and you want to show them, with guns and smoking weed or something like that, like they're thugs. But then, your white people get their butts killed. Oh, they're all fine, and Rittenhouse and all that crap. Illegal guns. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We play all these games. We play all these games with the laws and the rules, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean this. I thought it was interesting that didn't the twins say that Carmelo went into his book bag, his book bag. So y'all, if we're gonna go by what he said he went into his bag. So y'all saw him go into his bag and pull out a knife, and y'all didn't do anything to stop him from stabbing your brother? Nothing?
You're not hearing the whole story.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I'm pointing out. The fact that you know, he says this, and I just hope they get a really good attorney, not one that's gonna you know, hang them out to dry, for lack of a better term, because it sounds a lot like the beginning stages of what happened with Brian Nichols. He was left hung out to dry by whoever his attorneys were, even though they got a hung jury twice. And you know what? I ain't even gonna say it was his attorneys, by those who are attorneys as well, and that would be um, Paul Howard, the district attorney,
Hmm.
the DA, whatever her name was, saying, "Well, we just gonna keep him in there till we get it right." You know, he's attorney. The word doesn't say anything good about attorneys. You know, they heap. How does the word say? They heap debts upon men themselves they wouldn't touch.
Mm.
I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, it's I feel for the kid, you know, and I hate that the other kid had to die, you know, because I mean it's jacked up on both sides, but there shouldn't be instant castigation of, until all the facts come out, until you know we know more. Because right now it's just being bandied about in the media, and only thing that's coming out are narratives, and narratives change like the direction of the wind.
Right. Yeah, and see, that's my thing is even the way that we're listening to stories, even the way that these type of things come out to the public is trashy. It's trashy because it makes people come up with a narrative, an initial first impression, and it's not necessarily true. And then when the real truth starts to really come up and show, nobody wants to change their first person narrative.
Yeah, yeah, they don't want to report the actual facts with the same fervor as they did the narrative, which may have turned out not to be accurate. And
Yeah.
that's not helping the victim, that's not helping the families of the victim, that's not helping the accused, it's not helping society. But what can we expect from the media that's controlled by those who like and manipulate everyone on every side?
Well, it's like this: that this group of people can do what they did based upon what they've been doing. But the thing is, though, uh, they have if you don't expose the whole tree, then you still ain't getting it. You know, they are a part of the problem, but they're just the head part of it. They're not the only one. And so the thing is, the reason why people are going to protect the same status quo system is because they're pity bitty. You know, it's like I made the plan to rob the bank, but hey, I'm gonna give you $1 million, and then I'm gonna give your brother, $1 million, and then we're gonna give these people a few hundred thousand, and we're gonna give these people a couple hundred thousand. So not only am I gonna protect the plan to rob the bank, but all them people who gonna get some money, they gonna protect the robbing the bank too. So they all gotta get, all of them gotta get exposed. And that's an issue. We got too much feelings for other people and nobody got no feelings for us. That's the problem. We're trained like that. We got all this empathy and trying to, all this mess for other people, and these folks don't have that for us at all. They really don't. And so, my thing is, let them feel it. Let them feel it. Let them feel it. They got to feel it, and let them. We got to defend ourselves. especially when we're in the right. But yeah, let them feel it because they got, just like with this Iran thing and this war stuff. One of the things that these people don't understand is that this ain't the 1950s or 30s no more. So,
No, sir.
true enough. Yeah, let's say you can blow up some bunch of stuff inside of Iran or whatever, and you can hurt the Iranian people. But there's Iranians here right now in this country. A lot of them are scientists. If they start attacking you, if they start bombing some stuff over here, messing up some cities over here, they'll lose their mind.
Oh, then they'll feel justified. See, I told you, it'll be there instantly.
Well, yeah, but
they won't look. They won't say it like that. They'll say, "Well, that just confirms what we've always suspected."
And that's fine. But the thing is, they're not equipped to really deal with that psychologically. See, because domestically, if you notice, domestically in the United States, the war is against Black people. Their domestic war is against Black people. They want to kill us. They want to marginalize us. We are the enemy of America. Okay? We can delude ourselves and pretend that we're not. The ones of us that want to be included in America, we start talking like them. We be like, "Well, y'all need to pull your pants up. See, you got these single mothers out here." And, we start talking all that kind of mess. But we don't go into why. They all of that stuff, the single motherhood, the crack epidemic, all of this stuff was past wars against attacks against our community. And then these are the results of them. So the thing is, but white folks have had all these similar things that happened to them. They had the opioids, they had the women's lib with feminism, they've had all of this stuff going on, abortion and all these different things. But the demonization is not rampant like that. They don't do that to them.
It's not attached to them like it is to us.
Well, they don't do that to themselves because they're not the ones that's under.
Oh no, they do it. No, they do it to themselves. Mike, the movie that you encourage. Hold on, the movie you encouraged me to watch, and I did watch. Before abortion became legalized, they engaged more in abortion than we did, and after it became legalized, the opposite became true.
Okay, so you're responding to something that I'm not talking about, though. Let me make clear what I'm saying when I said they don't do that to themselves. Let me make clear what that is, okay? Because you're saying something that is true, but that's not what I was actually referring to. So you're saying that they did do abortion to themselves. They did do feminism to themselves. Yes, and that's true. But what I was talking about is I'm talking about the smear campaign, where this thing, this type of they attach a stigma on all white people as thugs, as baby mamas, as this is what I'm talking
not
about.
White people. You said white people.
I'm talking about white people. I'm talking
about, and I addressed that when I said they attach demonization to it when it comes to us. They don't do that to them. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen to them.
No.
It just doesn't happen. Not the demonization part. I'm just talking about the act. That's why I brought up the fact that was brought out in my Alpha 21. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing out. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. I said that's what I'm saying. And I just wanted to be clear on what I meant by, this or that they're not doing to themselves. The part that I'm talking about that they're not doing to themselves is the stigma. They're not attaching a stigma to their kind, to every time you see the black person, you're looking at, oh, the baby mama or the dope dealer or the sportsman or the drug person.
Or the single parent home, any of that.
Right. So that's a media blitz campaign to attach type of stigma to us. And true enough, they do happen to us, but they happen to them as well. But like I said, those stigmas are not going to be attached to them in the same way they're being attached to us, and to every single one of them, the black person. And so that's what I mean. And that's why they think that they could just come approach us and say, hey, you get out of here. You know, they want to pick a fight with us, thinking that they're going to win every time. No, you're not going to win every time, you know. Like I said, they took pictures of Kobe's dead body. They took pictures of those twins' dead bodies. And they want to throw that under the memory holes. And the thing is, when we see something unfair, you know, we're going to keep a record of it. And then when it goes on the other side, I'm not defending, you know, that's what I'm saying. They got to feel that pressure in order to understand, like, yeah, y'all was having fun being white for a few hundred years, but this little racial category thing, you know, that's not the business. That's not gonna benefit you guys no longer. So, you know, you need to drop that. Because that's the only way that's gonna go away.
It's another way it can go away. I believe if we are smart enough to use some of the things that they put out there against them. You know, earlier today, somebody trying to pull it up made a post about Donald Trump and said something to the effect that he wants to give reparations to those that were locked up unjustly for January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Whether a person agrees with it or not, and I'm speaking as a black person, whether you agree with it or not, and I just posed the question. Oh man, I'm trying to pull it up because I don't want to get it wrong. Because all I did was ask a question, and I guess the people who responded weren't able to understand what the question is, which is a problem, you know, unto itself, all on its own. But it says a lot about, you know, how or if people still think, which is not good at all. You know, I'm still looking for it. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, here's the post. Oh yeah, it's the one I sent you, where it shows Vicky Dillon on the cover. The pink-haired woman keeps posting trash and turning off comments. You're mad at her for acting on black issues or whatever, but you're okay with the orange dude talking about reparations for the January 6th clowns. You're okay with him scrubbing black history. Yeah, I will stick with her. By eye dripping in your eyes like Juliana. Okay, so that's him talking about Vicky Dillon as well. The part I pulled out was about the reparations for January 6th. And my question was this: is it smart to agree with someone to use what you agree on to get what you want? Or better said, deserve, because we talk about reparations. So if we agree with him on reparations for January 6th, then we can turn around and say, yeah, and this is how, the same way they deserve reparations, this is equal. This is tantamount to the same. Whether, if you want to eliminate slavery from the discussion, fine, but you can't eliminate Jim Crow, and you really can't eliminate slavery, because slavery was legalized by the government. Sure, the government ultimately may have made it illegal, but just making it illegal does not repair the wrong.
Right.
So that's why I posed the question. And because I posed that question, you already know what came next. Is it dumb to argue for Trump or a sane person? That's the first thing I got back from the same person that posted it. And it's like, dude, you're not even thinking. You're not even really reading the question. You can't be. And if you are, you're not taking it serious.
Right.
And you're probably not taking it serious because it doesn't say, I'm not saying what you want to hear, which is, yeah, the hell with the orange man bad. The hell with anything he's saying. I'll never agree with none of it. Even if it gets you what you want or deserve.
Yeah, these people, that's what I mean. These people are programmed. It's just too much. It's like there's no free thinking, period. They're just in this club. It's a certain club they're in, and they don't want to change it. That's fine.
Oh, no.
Is it dumb to argue for Trump or a sane person?
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And you see what I said now? Try understanding the question posted before responding. Just, try to understand it. I ain't saying don't respond. Just think about what's really being said or asked.
So
I did. It was a stupid.
First off, they said this pink hair woman, her hair is not pink. Do we see pink hair? I don't see pink hair.
Yeah.
So this person says, so this shows you the perception of reality is right there. He's looking at her as a pink haired woman. There's no pink hair there. Okay. This pink haired woman keeps posting trash and turning off comments. You are mad at her for not acting on black issues or whatever.
Hold on. And I think by her, he's referring to Jasmine Crockett. Because in that video, that's who Vicky was talking about.
Right.
And then wasn't even that she was mad at her. She said, look, I can understand, you being sassy or whatever and kind of short temper on certain issues, but you're not even coming with the legislation to match this noise you're making. But go ahead. I just wanted to put that in.
You're mad at her, maybe Jasmine Crockett, for not acting on black issues or whatever. But you okay with that orange dude talking about reparations for January 6th clowns? You okay with him scrubbing black history? Yeah, I will stick with her. Dye dripping in your eyes like Giuliani. Okay.
Like Giuliani.
Yeah.
He trying to say that she spraying, hair dye.
Yeah.
So that's why I say he taking personal shots instead of dealing with what the subject matter is.
But see, the thing is, they think that this works for them. But it works for stupid people.
Yeah, and that's what Jasmine Crockett does. Is there anything? If there's something you can say to Trump, what would it be? Fuck off. I mean, for real. That's the most intelligent thing you can come up with. Or what was the other thing? Stop being Putin's hoe. Come on, man. I mean, can we be adults? Can you act like you have the education that those papers on your wall say you do?
Mm. Well, like I said, this is the world. This is right here. This stuff here, it deserves to be erased. That's what I
Oh
said.
yeah, and he said what scrubbing? Well, he's scrubbing history. He just had a Black History program there, and talked about putting statues of all types of Black people in some statue garden. I ain't saying I'm for or against that. I'm just these are what facts are, and I mean, bro, it's oh man, it is so frustrating. But you or I won't follow that line of thought that he's presenting, Mister. After I said try understanding the question before responding, I did. It was a stupid question, so I responded in kind. Not
Yeah.
it was a stupid question. It was stupid question. If we're gonna go and I'm stupid, dude, you can't, and you ain't even proofread and correct it. So I mean, golly, man, our people. I mean, it's our people. What you said earlier about the things that have happened to us and in recent history, it was a very poignant piece of irony because uh, Angela, Stan K, and Pierre were talking about the same thing, and it was more Angela because Pierre was like, "Well, why aren't black men in the home?" And she said, "I don't know. Maybe it's because of the '94 crime bill." And he over there, Pierre over there, talking about that ain't George Biden ain't got nothing to do with this. Oh no, that does play a part.
Hmm.
When like what you mentioned earlier, now when it's the opioids, they coming out with treatments. When it was the crack epidemic, all they had was prison time.
Right. And then they're gonna say Biden don't have nothing to do with this, but then at the same time you're talking about erasing Black history. Mm.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
can't tell that
yeah. The
history.
same. She said, well, Biden didn't apologize for that, and Pierre they're talking about yes he did. No, he didn't. When he was sitting on that bus and he was asked, no, he did not, and it ain't never been brought back to him. But when Trump shows up at uh, NBAG, National Black Journalists Association, NBJA, he instead of trying to get to our issues, they trying to go for gotchas. And if you don't look, and I'm all for the gotchas actually, but when I do the gotcha, it's to hopefully open somebody's eyes on the other end of the gotcha, not or get something out of it for us, not just ooh, I caught a sound bite. You can't catch a sound bite.
Right. Yeah, that's
Shit
what I'm
ridiculous.
saying. This is the situation of society, and my thing is, I don't just put it on just our people. Our people are a part of this. Okay, so we are a part of this. So we can't just put it on just us because we crazy. Yes, true. We're crazy. But we're trying to be included in something that's crazy. This whole thing is crazy. Their whole system is crazy. And it should have been gone. And yeah, a lot of us are a part of it. We crazy too. On both sides of this aisle. You can't have all this internal fighting. They got stuff out here talking about libs and versus conservatives, and then it's like a little gang thing. How you gonna have a country with people trashing each other like that? And that happens definitely in the white community. Oh, libtards. Oh, libtards and libertarian, or dummy dims and what they call us, the progressives or whatever the fuck. Just all these different categories that they create of ideologies, and then now that's the enemy, and people treat them in the same country, but they're enemies, and then the government actually supports that. They don't look at that as a danger. Do you understand that kind of stuff right there is going to grow and split your whole entire country in half? Right now, you got situations where people, they don't mind if the president gets, taken out. They would laugh. You had assassination attempts, and everybody's just like, whatever. And so that means on the other side of the coin, people are doing the same thing. That's you're dealing with. You're becoming absolute enemies now within the country, same country. I don't understand how people don't understand that that's super duper dangerous. Because even when, even back in the time where Bush was in office, if something happened to him, that kind of rallied even the people on the other side of the coin, who were his critics. They still kind of rallied with him. You know what I mean? So
hey, I don't think anybody was rallying with Bush when that shoe came at his head. I know I wasn't.
Well, they started.
You remember when?
Yeah, they threw a shoe at his head. He moved out the way. They kind of congratulated him.
Oh yeah, he ducked.
Yeah, they congratulated him for being quick. They laughed.
Yeah, he did well. He did well on ducking that shoe. He showed some swiftness. He was fleet of foot. But that person, Darrell Brooks, he went on to say, "Dude, you don't have any sense. You don't." I'm just gonna read it how he said it. I'm not gonna try and correct it. Dude, you don't have any sense. All you do is post gay and trans stuff saved on your phone. And I told him, even though the question has nothing to do with your lifestyle. I mean, it's sad. I said nothing about that at all. The question I posed has nothing to do with any of that. But instead of dealing with what's being said, they go into other stuff. And you can go into other stuff, but if you can't even make it relate, I mean, you spinning your wheels.
Right.
It's sad, bro. It's really sad. That Stockholm syndrome is crucial.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, we really don't have a chance to really heal ourselves when we still under the same disgusting system, because we're really actually just trying to be American, and however crazy they are, we're trying to be, a lot of us. And so we get called out for our crazy. It's just that they don't really get called out for their crazy as much. They do get called out some, but not as much, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I'm gonna shut it down a little bit because I gotta get a little bit of rest before I go out back into this spot. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. It's just like this is
going back to the little big city.
Yeah, Reno.
Yeah. The project I'm on here in Atlanta, the person I'm working with, he from Reno.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that's what it's called, the little big city.
Yeah, it's
or the big little city. It's one of
biggest
Yeah.
little. Yeah, Reno. It ain't really all that to me, but I mean, they do it's a lot of stuff going on in Reno. Syntax. They're trying to be like a little Vegas, I guess. That's all they got.
Yeah, he told me Vegas is a 7-hour ride from Reno,
Right.
which is insane. In the same state. Wow. But but Vegas is what, a 4-5 hour ride from LA.
Right.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, I mean, they're right next to each other, same state. One is at the bottom, one is at the top, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Ain't that bad.
You know.
Yeah. So
Well, when you ride out there, you ought to check out. I'm gonna send it to you. What that discussion between Angela and Pierre, because
I mean, I've
it's
seen
just
that. I
more the
think I've
same.
seen it. I can look at it again though. Yeah, go ahead and send it again though.
Because some of the comments behind it are just as equally as insane as what we just went through. I mean, man, it's just our people. I just don't. Yeah, we don't. We play a part in it too, and others do as well. But good night.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, got to make all things new. Just let it. Dysfunctional stuff has to go away. It just has to, and it doesn't. But the thing is, sometimes we think we're losing something, which we are, something bad. But we want to keep a hold of what we think we're losing. So a lot of people want to protect it, but it's not. It needs to just go away. And that's the main thing.
Someone, let me say this to you. I want to get your thoughts before you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know the general gist of what Angela and Pierre were talking about.
Right.
This one female said, I told her, she said that the more I listen to our people on the internet, the more I understand why we are at the bottom of the totem pole. So I understood her to mean that she agreed with what Pierre was saying, and I told her that Margaret Sanger likes your train of thought. She said, "Was that supposed to hurt my feelings?" I liked some of her ideas. She was actually onto something. Extermination of some would not be a bad idea and should have been done long ago.
Right. So there you go. Like I said, these people are trying to be. They're trying to be what the society is that they're living in. They're being programmed, even though they have the black phenotype, they have the black genetics. They look like they're a certain thing, but they have realized that they want to be white. So they have to think and admire the whites. You see what I'm saying? And that means that's actually suicide for us. The only reason why we're at the bottom of the so-called totem pole is nothing to do with, learning and all that kind of stuff. It's a simple fact that a group of people, they had a war, and they have decided that these people we will always restrict stuff from them. That's the reason. We're going to restrict stuff from every generation of theirs. That's what white is. That's what white is. That's racial categories. That's what race is. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about why and this and that, or you guys are this and this and that. It's like, okay, we're going to make this category the losers, and then we're going to steal from them every generation. That's all that is. And once you realize that, then you can start actually understanding how to clean that up.
I realized that I don't understand how to clean it up. The only reason I say that, and it ain't that I don't really understand how to clean it up. I don't understand how to convince others to snap out of it and help us clean it up. Because I mean, for her to say that, and I was being a bit snarky when I replied. I said, "No, it wasn't meant to hurt your feelings. Thanks for the confirmation that Stockholm syndrome can be fatal." She told me and you would have been exterminated. You would have been on the extermination list. I said only if my parents suffered from Stockholm syndrome. This person said, "What?" Same woman. What do your parents have to do with you and your thoughts and mentality? That makes absolutely no sense. Mommy and daddy have nothing to do with your thought pattern as an adult. Your mentality stands on its own and shows you would have been eliminated. Or if we go by your logic, maybe your whole family would have been wiped out. Either on the mentality issue, either or the mentality slash issue would have been neutralized.
Yeah.
I told her, you are misunderstanding the premise of what is being stated. Sanger manipulated some in our community into believing baby deletion is a good thing and used black preachers to do it. When subscribed to, this mindset leads to the reduction of our population, thus reducing the economical and political power we have. If my parents and yours as well had followed such, you nor I would not be here to have this conversation. My comments are not just about the train of thought being passed on, they encapsulate the physical reality of being deleted before any ideology could be given to the next generation. And I ended it with a quote by Margaret Sanger. We would not want the word to go out that we want the Negro to be eliminated. I mean,
Right.
can I mean, how do you reach her? I mean, remember you say you like to leave the door open. How we leave the door open for somebody who
You can't close the door. You can't close the door on her. God can reach her door. What you did is enough. You already did what your job was. You talked to her, and you just keep it moving. That's it. Because God, once the truth is out, y'all got. Once the truth, if you look at the Bible, you look at all of the scriptures. If the truth gets put on the people, and those who God decides to lead in the right direction, He's going to let you go there. And if you're supposed to go away, you're supposed to go away. God decides that. Because the person is not going to necessarily tell you right in there in that same conversation, oh, you're right. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that does happen. But a lot of times they're not going to just tell you, yeah, you're right. They're just going to sit there and argue with you. And then later on, they're going to think about it. But not in your presence.
Well, hopefully she thinks about it and it hits home.
Well, I mean, The thing is, you don't even want them anyway. The thing is what did God do? God was mad at the children of Israel because they didn't listen to Moses. He let them sit there and wander in the wilderness for what?
40 years.
Okay, so that generation, he was mad at, but he still understood that the essence of what that people was, of his promise to the people, would still be fulfilled, but just not with that generation because they were punks. They were scared. So he took their children, their genetic lineage, and moved and did his plan with them. So, like I said, we're dealing with these older people. I mean, they're programmed. They're gonna stay like that. They can die off. The kids and the younger population, the people who understands that this is the change that's happening. Those are the ones that's going to end up actually doing what's needed to be done. But yeah, dealing with these older people who all they're gonna stay where they stay. That's it. It's like concrete. They got after a certain period of time, the concrete is set.
and it's gonna dry.
Right. I mean, and it takes it. You can shape it, but it's still harder to shape. It's easier to shape when it's still new. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway. All right, shutting it down. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's
That was a
up.
decent conversation, though. We we hit it up a little bit good, so that's good. But yeah, peace out, and you make sure you have what your project is doing good too. Hopefully, Reno.
Just started.
Huh?
But yeah,
Okay,
Much,
it's out there in
much
Georgia.
success on your project as well. Yeah, in Atlanta.
Okay, good.
Yeah, working over there on the north side a little bit. Not too far from home, but enough to run into some traffic.
Okay,
Just crazy.
it's not that far from you though.
Nah, Bolton Road from Cascade is like 3 exits
Okay,
with
that's good.
20 in between. But
At least
yeah,
you're at
but
home.
why is it? Yeah, but I mean, it's ridiculous that there's that much traffic in the morning for 3 exits. It shouldn't. It's
That means there's some
ridiculous.
money being made there.
Yep,
Somebody
going to
making
get
some
it.
money there. Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, y'all.
Well,
Peace out.
so
Thanks, man.
like,
It's good talking to you, man.
share, subscribe.
Right. Press the like button and all of that. Put your comments down there. Peace.